Get ready and stay ready because no one knows when Jesus is coming. That is what my 92-year-old neighbor, Rose, just told me minutes ago. Because I woke up from the night shift and the first thing I read was a comment accusing me of being a fake Christian. And well, I thought, what better opportunity to talk about Christianity than this? I gotta let you know, I think I'm a spectacular Christian. So much so that it might be a sin. And I think if you ask my mother if I'm a good Christian or if I've been a Christian my whole life, she would verify that I've just been a straight up like, woo, bang, bang, Jesus my whole life. And I always think the like people talking to out Christian people is like the craziest shit ever, you know? Because only God can judge. And I really want to use this as an opportunity now to say that not only has 2020 been crazy, but we have reason to believe that May is going to be a wild, wild month. And so now is not a good time to be displacing your inner aggression on other people. Now is not a good time to be stirring the pot, you know? Now is a great time to stay cool. And my prayer in 2020 is through the roof. And I pray for the safety and the health and the happiness and for peace for all people. But, you know, extra special for the people that I love and that I care about and I don't want to lose. And the funny thing is, I got accused of using magic. And I guess, I don't know, to me, like, everything is magic. Like, when I play guitar, that's magic. Like, when I think of a funny joke, that's magic. You know, like, I know that there are black magics. Like, if you are using something like an old binding spell, or if you were using, like, a spell that somebody made 100,000 years ago for a desired effect, then yeah, it's probably black magic. But, like, if you are thinking good thoughts, trying to be cool, trying to be a nice person, and then good things happen, I consider that good magic. But the irony that I want to point out was that this person was accusing me of being a fake Christian using magic from the internets. And then I think we can all agree technology is magic. Like, technology is a can't get around it magic. And I've discussed many times how tired I am of the fear-mongering of, like, the number of the beast and the chip. Because, dude, they've been fear-mongering this thing for 30 years. Like, the number of the beast is supposed to be coming every single day. And so, like, literally, we're supposed to be fearing the number of the beast since it was the barcode, and then it was, like, cryptocurrencies, or the internets, or cable TV. Man, I've only got so many seconds in the day to worry about the number of the beast. Anywho, so what I believe in Christianity is that only God can judge. And that one reason I don't usually talk about Christianity as a Christian is because everybody's form of Christianity is totally different. That as a human being, you have lived your life from inside your body, and you have perceived your life with your own senses, your eyes, your smell, your taste, the things you hear, your dreams, your imagination. And so that you've experienced your life as one individual out of 7 billion individuals, and technically out of like 40 billion people that have lived on this planet. And so you may believe that you have the greatest relationship with God and Jesus or whatever you believe and that it is far superior to everyone else. But as far as I know, you have no proof that you are a way better Christian than me or anyone else outside of your works. Because James said, grace without works is dead. I remind you, I was raised a Lutheran, confirmed, baptized. And so we were taught to prove our Christianity through our hard work. And that the love and the forgiveness without the works to back it up are dead. And so I know there are a lot of evangelicals out there who believe that the only thing you gotta do is love Jesus and then talk about Jesus, and you can technically be as shitty as a human being as you want to be, and you're still going to heaven. And hey man, I don't know. I'm not God. I don't call the shots. I don't decide who gets into heaven. Personally, I don't believe in hell as people have sold people, like the idea that an all-loving, all-knowing God would take an individual human being and then torture them for eternity doesn't make any sense to me. Because we were born onto a flawed planet. We were born flawed. We were born into a flawed system. So it's like, all right, if you make a mistake, then you are getting tortured forever. Like, what type of a loving God would do that, dude? It don't make no sense to me. And that's the whole thing, is that, like, the world is crazy enough as it is. And so we have to make sense out of it to keep on going. And so my Christianity over my 48 years has boiled all the way down to the 2 laws that God gave us. Love God above all else, and that is easy because God created the sky, the clouds, water, beer, my mom, women, like everything good is God. Birds, gecko lizards, squirrels, cats. God created them. They've been here for a long time. So loving God has always just been natural to me. I'm the type of guy that enjoys life. And after I got accused of being a fake Christian, I went down to my 92-year-old neighbor, Rose. And since the pandemic is happening, I check in on her about every 2 or 3 days. I bring her food whenever she needs it. And I like to drop off cookies because she likes cookies. And she's a 92-year-old black woman Christian who has seen a ton of shit and is one of the most firm believers in Jesus Christ I know. And so I said, Rose, can I interview you for me being accused of being a fake Christian? She was like, no, I don't want that. I was like, okay. I said, what advice do you have? And she said, get ready and stay ready because no one knows when Jesus is coming. And that is another thing that I'm always blown away by is a lot of my fellow Christians know everything. They know exactly what the devil's doing. They know exactly what Lucifer's doing. They know exactly what the Illuminati's doing. They know exactly what the deep state's doing. They know exactly what's going to happen tomorrow. They know exactly what's going to happen next month. They know exactly what's going to happen in 2021. They know exactly what's going to happen 10 years from now. They know exactly what's going to happen in heaven. They know exactly, and it's like, sometimes it gets on my nerves because there's a lot we don't know. And we don't know when Christ returns, man. And I want to tell you something. Every single generation before us for 2,000 years has believed that Christ was coming during their lifetime. And then there's the whole Christian faction who A, thinks God is just going to torture us, or B, thinks that like God is going to wipe us out in the rapture, or the bad people. Reverse that. And so who knows, maybe COVID is like the rapture. And so that every plague is like the rapture, and so we've had multiple raptures. That doesn't make any sense. And I want to let you know, no disrespect, but I'm not a rapture guy. I believe that Jesus Christ died, and that I too will have to die. And so that death is just a natural part of life, although Jesus was reborn and is still the strongest figure alive today. I mean, when Dorian is about to destroy Florida, I'm praying to Jesus. When, I thought like a year and a half ago when I thought I was getting kicked out of my apartment and had no money is going to get killed. I'm praying to Jesus. When I got people trying to kill me, I'm praying to Jesus. And my whole point is that, like, dude, 2020 has been rough. 2020 will continue to be rough. And so if you are a good Christian or even a good person, because I need you to know that in my Christianity, I believe that as long as people believe in God, that they too then can have a good relationship now and forever with God. That it has always been weird to me that somehow the American Indians who were alive before Jesus would be going to hell, or that like a billion Chinese would be going to hell, or I mean, if people that never even had a chance, like, I don't know, man. So, and I came to that belief through Isaac Newton, because Isaac Newton wrote a giant piece on the weight of the Holy Trinity, asking humans, do you believe that God, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus are of equal weight? And he tried to say that, like, in his belief, this is Isaac Newton, that like God was like 50%, Jesus was like 30%, and the Holy Spirit was like 20%. He broke it down. And so he was basically talking, hello, why am I getting disconnected? And so the basic thing is, and I mean, like, Baptists disagree with everybody, Catholics disagree with everybody, Lutherans disagree with everybody, like there's like 33,000 different factions of Christianity. And so definitely during this time, stay cool. And so my 92-year-old Rose, she also said, she told me to stay nice and to stay funny. And then she ended it with, if you do that, God will send you a good wife. And I was like, oh man, then I definitely got to stay nice. And I got to stay funny, though that's harder to do. Because I definitely want a good wife. Like, that's not like the only thing. That's like, I've not been like, oh my God, I want power. Or oh my God, I want money. Or oh my God, I want fame. Oh my God, I want to hack everybody so I can be the grand solar minimum king. No, I've been like, man, I want like the best wife ever, who is super cute and faithful, loyal, funny, and then, it'd be like so that's what I want. And so I talked to my 92-year-old neighbor, and, we both believe that, like, Jesus is the power. And another thing, that I believe in prayer, and that we are fighting like a Cthulhu virus from hell that hates human beings, and not only hates human beings, but it gets us to go crazy and fight with each other at the same time. Like, we've had so many reasons to unite. And that the bigger the reason for humans to be like, hey, why don't we all work together, get our shit in gear, fix everything, and improve things so that we can rise above this world beast system, which has been in place for 20 years, into a better world. 1,000 years of peace. And that's what my Christianity is. How I have interpreted the words is that when the Spirit of God, Christ, returns, the evil spirits will get thrown into the bottomless pit, and that peace will reign on earth for 1,000 years. So for 1,000 years, man, animals, and the planet will be able to live without war, will be able to live without hate, will be able to live without blaming each other. Like the whole thing between China and the United States, or Israel and Palestine, or Pakistan and India. Like, we've been set up to hate each other along national lines, religious lines, racial lines, political lines, gender lines, sexual lines. And while that happens, Apple's going through the roof. Amazon's going through the roof. Microsoft's going through the roof. Twitter's going through the roof. And so I think most people out there, And I'm not real worried about it. Like I said, only God can judge. But I've been cool. I've been here. I mean, I had a job working for lawyers, and I made, compared to this, decent money. And I got treated really well. I gave up that job to be Planetary Defense Commander. Oh, and the person that accused me of being a fake Christian also said that, like, I'm not really protecting anyone. That's like your opinion, dude, because technically I put out pretty great information the whole time I'm here, and I know that I believe in the virus. I know people, like, most people I know someone who have lost someone and I believe the government is undercounting the numbers. And so that they're like literally trying to trick you and your family into going and getting the virus. And it's really kind of evil. And that YouTube is still geared towards the like tricking people into believing the worst, most fearful conspiracy theories. Trust the YouTube. So I've been here saying play great defense. I've been here saying be cool. I've been here saying, hey man, if you wear a wet mask and somebody wears a mask and you go in the store, you got a 1% chance of catching this virus. And I believe you do not want this virus. And so we're at the point now where it's like Darwin's Law. Like, hey man, if you want to go get the virus, by all means, go get it. And then do a live video show showing us how COVID is just like the flu, as it attacks your lungs, as it attacks your liver, as it attacks your spleen, as it attacks your brain, as it attacks your eyeballs. I'm smoking. So I guess I'm not perfect. I love Jesus Christ with all my heart, and I have given my life and my soul to get us closer to the point of 1,000 years of peace. It may not come in my lifetime, but I helped us get there. And so what are my sins? I can be really arrogant. Definitely. Under the right circumstances, I can be mean. When I was at a store the other day, a guy without a mask, like literally almost tripped over me and cut in front of me and started yelling at the cashier in front of me. So I began to yell at him. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, yes, I am obsessed with the absolute most beautiful women in the world. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm attracted to them. Like, physically, they're the most amazing things you've ever seen. And if you come within 5 feet of them, they will literally discombobulate your entire energy field for days. But I don't know how to not be attracted to the women I'm attracted to. And most of them are the most beautiful women on the planet with the most incredible bodies you've ever seen. They're extremely smart and super talented. So I do not know how to not be attracted to those women. I get that it can be annoying, but I'm unmarried with no kids. And sometimes my arrogance makes me think that somehow I have a leg up on people who've been divorced or people who are really rich. And so I'm sorry for that. But I've worked damn hard my whole life not to get divorced. Because Jesus was like, don't do that shit. Although I have had quite a bit of premarital sex, especially if you count third base. What are we talking about anyway? This is where like the whole timeline is splitting. So the people who can adapt and be cool are going to be cool and are going to hang on for dear life. And the total shitburgers, garbage hearts are going to be gaslighting everyone. Like Elon Musk going, free America, open up, and I don't mean to pick on Elon, but the dude's got 5 kids, right? And so before the pandemic, Elon got to be like, hey, I'm the greatest man in the world. I invented rockets. I invented cars. I invented satellites. Talk about me all the time. I'm Elon Musk. And then the lockdown happens, and boom, he's stuck at home with his 5 kids 24/7. And some people have been like, dude, my kids are getting on my damn nerves. I don't know. I don't have kids. I don't have an ex-wife. I just have a foxhole and an Asteroid Fight Club and a job. And I want to remind you, yeah, I'm in the middle of a fundraiser. Got like $962 to go. And this is all I do. This is my work. And my work is trying to save people and get us to a better place. But Elon is out there like cheering on the armed people who have charged into the Michigan. And you know what the whole thing about the like open America thing is? Reopen the economy. All right, then reopen all the schools, bro. Because every state has said they are not going to open the schools before the fall. So technically, you cannot have a reopening of America until the fall. And so you are telling people to get back to work when they have their 5 Elon Musk kids in their house and can't afford, hey, thank you very much. Thank you, Rachel. Rachel. That's from Batman. Rachel. Okay? But yeah, dude, like, so you gotta, like, I don't know, that's how I get. It's like, oh, and I don't mean to be a jerk, especially during a Christian video, but you get all these, like, rich people with stocks, ex-wives, and mistresses. I mean, Elon Musk has multiple ex-wives and a baby mama. And he's like, God, we need to get back to work. You know, and I imagine some NBA players, some baseball players are like, oh my God, open the season back up. I cannot handle being with my wife and my kids all day. I need a break. You know, that's the energy I get out of Elon, by the way. When he's like, oh my God, I can't be a father all day. Homeschooling is so hard. Although, like, a friend of mine Autumn came by and dropped off a guitar I'd left at her apartment yesterday. I gave her 2 hugs. She has been hanging out with her kids, and so she has enjoyed the time off with her children. So, like, there are the 2 camps. You have the working people, the kick-ass people who actually have kind of enjoyed the slower change of pace while we try and figure out the future. And then you have the millionaires who continue to yell in our face, get back to work, open up America. Like Rand Paul was like, open up America again. Well, Rand, how about this, buddy? You go down to your Pennsylvania hospitals and you go shake the hands of all the doctors and you go buy all the nurses' sandwiches to show people that it's safe. Another thing, if y'all are going to be like, open up the country. Well, Congress, get back in session to show that it's safe. What I think is happening is you have your $1 million class and your $1 billion class knowing that they can do what they can to force the poor people without defenses and protections to go and work. Like, we should be protecting the essential workers with every ounce we have. And let me tell you something. As someone who worked for lawyers for 5 years, the corporate liability of getting people to work and then getting them sick has yet to be determined. So we're going to have thousands of, on the old system, thousands of lawsuits that are going to continue to play out for years because corporations at this point, in a limited liability corporation, were forcing people into danger so they could get their stock markets back up. And let me tell you, although now 30 million people have been unemployed, the stock markets are getting really back up to the record stocks of all time. God said, the love of money is the worst of all evils. You don't hear politicians talk about that. Hell, you didn't even hear churches talk about that. That was what drove me nuts From like 2000 to 220, it was like the only thing churches talked about when they talked negative was gay people. It was like, you want to know the only sin in the world? It's gay people. And I was like, hey, dude, what if I agreed? And, you know, I don't know. Like I said, I see divorce and any sins of sexuality as they're almost like equal. And C.S. Lewis said that sexual sins between consenting adults are the least sinny. Although I put that weird. And I haven't had sex in 2.5 years. I have taken my job as your planetary defense commander and as your Thor very seriously for the last decade. So, in conclusion, only God can judge. But I'm definitely arrogant enough to think, man, you gotta work hard to out-Christian me. Like, my 92-year-old neighbor Rose, maybe she's a better Christian than I am. But she's a good woman, and every time I see her and every time I talk to her, the first thing off of her lips is Jesus. That's why I would say, like, in this weird political divide, I hear Republicans repeat constantly that all Democrats are atheists who hate God. I'm like, dude, let me remind you, there are a lot of white people, black people, Hispanic people, and Asian people who are Democrats, and that the black grandmama and the Hispanic grandmother are like the finest Christians you will ever meet. And so, and I don't know how the party that loves the stock market more than anyone in the universe, the party that worships the stock market like it was Jesus Christ himself, gets to decide who the Christians are. Anyway, you get to decide if you're a Christian. And only God can judge. And only God will know. And this is what I talk about. Like, death is a weird subject. And there's no expert on what happens when you die. And that we are seeing a record amount of death happen in the United States and across the world. And you may not be smarter than your average QAnon grand solar minimum video, but let me tell you, people are dying, and this disease is deadly. And so you are having mass pent-up grief right now where lives are being lost and lives are going to continue to be lost. And so, to me, to worry about a fucking election right now seems pretty anti-Christian. But I'd like to peel it back to, man, if you're a human being, if you're a good person, I'm asking you, during May, be cool. Don't gaslight people. Don't bring up bullshit. Like, I know now everybody's talking about Flynn. I remember I don't really pay attention to politics, so there's some Flynn FBI thing where a president is blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you who's evil. And it's like, dude, yesterday seems so insignificant right now. This may have been the narrative plot point that they were going to roll out up until the election. But now that we have a plague that is ongoing and has killed over 62,000 Americans in 4 weeks, technically it's 60,000 Americans, in 4 weeks, at a time where our government told us we have 15 cases, it's dropping to 0. That did not happen. Thank you. At a time when they said, don't worry, the sun will wipe it out before April. That did not happen. At a time where Wall Street comes out with some new antiviral drug every other week so that the stock market will go up an extra 2%, and that drug won't have any effect. And all the people that have been getting people to fear the vaccine's not coming for 12 months, 18 months. So this is when I used to make fun of the people who would tell everybody that a fake alien invasion was coming, or Project Bluebeam. And I made a really great video that was like, bro, how do you even throw a fake alien invasion? Like, how is that even possible? Like, our government, who can't even fix potholes or improve architecture since the 80s is somehow going to show up with a bunch of motherships, ray guns, gravity beams, and then fake an alien invasion? Like, that is so stupid. That's so dumb on every level. So, hey, don't spread the fear and the hate, because there's a lot we don't know. This virus, 90% is, my mind, is real, and it mutates and it gets worse. And I have a fear that it lives and it exists and it grows from our negative vibrations. Part of me, like I've told you, I believe that we manifested this thing. That by focusing on hate and divide and conquer in politics and greed for the last 5-6 years, we manifested this damn plague. And so the only way to get rid of it is by being cool and by shining your inner light. Jesus. I mean, like I said, I have this fantasy that if I say the greatest prayer ever, it will go away. Now, that may be a fantasy, but I'm not depending my life on it. You're not depending your life on it. And I'm sure going to try it every day. And so, and it's weird. Let's get in a crazy conspiracy tip if we can. People talk about alien invasions, and I've realized, if you want to be a critical thinking person with imagination, that if you were going to harvest planets, all you'd really have to do is show up and give them the 3 Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. And then you get them to do all the work for 2,000 years as you harvest everything, and then you just take off. And I have always found it interesting that the Quran, the Bible, and the Torah are written on paper, and your money is written on paper. And so, paper's powerful. That's another thing about the truth community. They keep trying to fearmonger a cashless society. Like, this was the Illuminati's plan the whole time, and they are so ready to take away all your cash and give you the mark of the beast in the digital currency. Yo, bro, like I've been telling you for the last 5 years, they don't have a plan. They sold y'all that they have some master plan. They don't have a plan, man. That is why everybody got caught absolutely flat-footed. That's why the president's like, nobody saw this coming. Everybody's like, nobody saw this coming. Except for the fucking idiots, the truth community, who are like, Fauci planned all of this. Him and Obama from the United Nations in the secret star chamber, they planned this so they could unroll the Bill Gates vaccine. And then the pants gnomes would take over the world. Nah, dude. They were greedy, and so they let shit spin out of control, and they really just crossed their fingers that another plague wouldn't show up. Because we had a plague in 1918, we had a plague in the 1600s, we had a plague in the 1300s, we had a plague in the 500s, we had a plague in the 300s. Every time Earthling's vibration gets so bad, it like manifests itself, and God corrects our course. Yeah, and I don't even know. And so I'm asking you to be cool. And another thing. To me, one of the ways you could prove that you have a good heart is by being funny. And that's one of the reasons that when I asked my neighbor Rose, what could I do? What advice do you have for me? She told me to stay kind and stay funny. And she's got a really cute laugh. It's like, hee 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 hee. Hard to do. So I like to make people laugh. It makes you feel good. If you laugh, you're like, oh yeah, man. Like that was, they talk about tension builds up to the best laughs. And so that is like my superpower. That's my magic. I'm funny. That's what I'm doing. I'm using my fake Christianity to make you laugh. My Christianity is real, bro. I feel like I'm like the tip of the spear. I am talking truth to power. And now I gotta convince the technocrats to be cool. Because if Bill Gates and Jack and Zuckerberg and Amazon, like Bezos and Larry Ellison and Elon, if all these dudes are super evil then man, my job's gonna be much harder saving the world than bringing about 1,000 years of peace. Who doesn't want to do that? Like, why wouldn't you want to get rid of people fighting over stupid politics? And remember, they're having the same stupid ass political argument in Britain. They're having it in Africa. They're having it in Pakistan. Like, it's the model of how to distract people while deregulating everything and taking them as much money as possible. And I want you to look at the monetary base, dude. Look at how much money they've created in the last 20 years. They've created like $1 quadrillion out of thin air. Cryptocurrencies was basically like a way to prevent hyperinflation, but allow them to just increase the monetary base tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. And the only thing that's going to get us through is teamwork. And man, we are at we've seen a record number of people die this year. And if shit continues to get worse, we're going to see a record number of people die in the year. We could see the biggest civil unrest the United States has ever seen. That's why, I have our president, who's also a multi-divorced, multi-billionaire guy who claims to be a Christian, like a week ago, he was like, hey, liberate Michigan, liberate, I don't even remember this, Virginia, liberate, that was some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. And then Elon Musk is literally saying that, our government, the Air Force, the Marines, the Army, the National Guard, the Navy, they are there, subjugating humans, not trying to protect them, but trying to be fascist assholes and force everyone into horrible dystopia. It's like Elon Musk. So you got Trump and Elon Musk saying, liberate America from the first responders, from the Air Force, from the Marines, from the Army. And it's and that even paints our police as bad guys. And I love Houston police officers. They have been super, super cool to me. And so now, as a Houston police officer, you've got, because our social safety net is so bad and that they did have to lock down, you've got a lot of unrest happening because when people get hungry and starving, they do crazy things. People without hope are people without fear. And so the police are now having to deal with extra civil unrest, higher homicide and break-in numbers, and the virus at the same time. And so not only are the doctors and the nurses the heroes of 2020, but your police officers are also the heroes. Because they're out there, if you're going to throw some giant protest, they're the ones trying to keep the peace. And technically, I am a peace officer. And peace officers are people who are trying to keep the peace. And that Jesus Christ is the Prince of Peace. And so please, I will do what I can to be a good man and a good Christian. Please do what you can to help everyone keep the peace. Let God judge. And that's the weird thing about the internet. No matter who I mention, there's always 1,000 people who that person is totally evil and they eat babies. Whether it be Bill Gates or Taylor Swift or Selena Gomez or even the hate. There was a video on YouTube yesterday where they're that 16-year-old girl who talks about climate change is a secret Rothschild and she's being MK Ultra. It's dude, really? Out of all the shit, you're going to pick on a 16-year-old? Well, I guess you gotta fight someone your own size, mentally. But that's just become like, everybody casts everybody's like evil and bad, and that is not the case. And it's been my job to like just be here and prove that there are cool people on the planet. And in 2015, when I had the dumbass idea and I contacted Suspicious Observers, Ben Davidson, and Dabu7, and Dutch Sense, and BP Earthwatch, I literally said to all of them that the world is going to get crazy. And so we have to be examples for the world that though America may be getting kind of crazy, that there are cool, good guys out there. 5 years later, and most of them are like, buy cryptos, the end is coming, the virus is a hoax. Great job, guys. Yeah, it's weird how the truth community over the last 5 years has really become a hive mind, where everybody thinks the same fucking thing. And nobody has a different opinion. And there are few and far between the people who have been calling for peace, the people who have been reminding people that we are all sinners, the people who are reminding people we're all in this together. And not only are we all in this together, we all caused this. We all let this happen. I'm 48 years old, so I have done what I can to bring us there, but I'm still part of the overall situation. I'm part of what got us here, and so are you. And that the last 20 years has been about accepting no responsibility for anything, blaming everyone else, and then taking all the credit. That's been the whole economic model. I'm sick of it, but it's changing. We don't know what it's going to change to, and that's the scariest thing, is that the future is in all of our hands right now. I'm sorry if you just wanted to be able to vote once in November and then be done and just go back to like gossiping or talking shit or making unfounded accusations online. That's what you thought you were going to get to do in 2020, but that's not going to happen. We now all have to work and figure out a way to keep civilization standing, to improve the world, to fight this freaking plague, to get ready for hurricane season. And then you're still going to have Wall Street trying to fix all the mixed messages and get everybody, like, they're going to tell you every single side of the coin. So they're going to try and trick or force a lot of people to go into very dangerous situations with this virus. And I like to think I'm a good Christian, but at the end, only God can judge. And I guess I'll find out when I die. But then I'll get to see my dad and my stepdad and my nana and my papa and Grandma Lewison and Grandma Hufflin and Uncle the coolest horse that ever lived, and Buddy and Butch, and I don't know, man. But I believe my energy carries on. That's a large reason why I'm really cool, because I think I'll get to be really cool in the afterworld and in the chain of life as well. So love God above all else and love your neighbor as your brother. And that is the hard part. Because other than the rare occasions where I get hacked and people try to prevent me from making videos or give you the information I want, I don't usually talk shit about anybody. Sometimes I disagree with our president because he's commander-in-chief and I'm your planetary defense commander. And that's part of the job. I'm not here to cheerlead Republicans. I'm not here to cheerlead Democrats. I'm not here to cheerlead the stock market. I'm not here to cheerlead cryptocurrencies. I'm here to try and protect the planet, the people, and the animals, and get us to a better world. And that person said, hey, I'm a fake Christian and I'm not protecting anyone. But I think the people in Texas, some will disagree. And the people who have avoided this virus ahead of time will disagree. I don't want to lose anyone. I don't want to lose any of my enemies. I don't want Kim Jong-un to die. And someone said yesterday to me, they said, you were wrong. He's a bad guy. And I definitely know that none of the dictators are perfect. I'm just saying, man, out of like ranking from is he Nero to is he Kim Jong-un? To me, he's like Kim Jong-un. And I just wish we could all work it out. If not, then it'll flame out in some giant lawless collapse. And then you have your Silicon 7 plus the defensive contracting industry will have a war against each other and we'll just be reduced to gray goo. And that would be a total failure as a planetary defense commander. Anywho, I love you guys. I just wanted it to be known. Someone on the internet accused me of being a fake Christian. I was like, oh no, I'm very good Christian. I'm so good that it may be a sin, meaning that I'm arrogant at times. Yeah, and you know what freaked me out? Larry Page, a co-founder of Google. To me, on a power ranking, Larry Page is about 100 and Donald Trump is like a 30. The power that Larry Page holds, he's got access to pretty much all the data of the last 16 years. Holy smokes. The divine is within. Carl, is that CHN? Y'all are amazing. And so it was weird to me that Larry Page is my age. Technically, he's a little younger than I am. And so, at some point he was like, I'm going to be Larry Page, the king of alphabet and worth $1 trillion. And I was like, I'm going to be the best video maker on the planet and your planetary defense commander. And I guess the thing on a personal ego level, I get annoyed that I've been trapped in a box. I don't know if you know this. For the last 3 years, I've been stuck at 55,000 subscribers. And so, at no point am I allowed to break out of this box. And in that regards, Larry and Sergey are my masters. They are the arbiters of the narrative for YouTube. There's no competitor for videos. There's only YouTube. And so I appreciate that Larry lets me have a stage. And I appreciate Larry allows me to have a vehicle where I can raise funds, but I just wish I had fair access to where my videos could get out to all people. I think I could have saved a lot more lives, not only during Hurricane Maria, but during this damn plague. So yeah, at the end of the day, if Larry Page isn't already cool, I gotta convince him to be cool. I gotta convince Jeff Bezos to help save the post office. And I know everyone's gonna be like, they're all evil. I'm like, well, man, don't you get that if everyone who has any power is totally evil, that makes my job harder. And a lot of times I get the feeling that most people have never talked to any of these people. I've talked to a lot of them. I've never talked to Larry or Sergey that I know of. But I've talked to a lot of super powerful people, man. And just accusing people without any type of evidence of horrible crimes is not a good communication tactic. Especially if you're trying to get people you need to help you out. And I need Google to help out humanity. Because they hold a ton of power. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You may live in a fantasy world where you think Trump is the most powerful man on the planet. I wouldn't even put him in the top 100. And let me tell you this. The 6 richest people on the planet, you do not know their names. And their last names aren't Rothschild or Astor or Clinton. You don't know them, dude. Anyway. So I hope Larry Page is going to be a good guy. I hope the Tech 6 and give me a good guy. I hope Elon will stop being such a douche. And I know I'm not helping, and I'm not being a good Christian by calling him a douche. So please, just stop gaslighting. You guys are amazing, awesome, fantastic, incredible. Help me help you. And help each other. Because May has maximum potential to be really weird. with supply chain breakdowns, lawlessness, some areas never coming back, and that I recommended playing a 100-day defense, and that giving Americans the $1,200 checks every single month till July. I don't get one, but that's a deal me and the IRS have to talk about later. But that solidify the safety nets. And I've always talked about, if you are taking care of every American, if you gave every American $2,000 for the next 6 months to get through this, why do you have to flush money into the corporations? If you're making sure every American is taken care of for the next 6 months, why do you have to spend the $2.6 trillion on the corporate entities that are like limited liability shell companies? You don't have to. So please remember that. When they just spent $4 trillion, they gave 95% of that to corporations, and they gave 5% of that to the people. And then they're even making the states fight for it. And we should be rallying as Americans around New Jersey, New York, and the Northeast. I mean, at least when 9/11 happened, Americans took a pause and held hands and said this was horrible. We've now had 62,000 people die, and at no point in time have Americans stopped and paused and said, Lord, take care of these souls that are crossing over. Lord, send us your strength and show us the way. At no point in time during the 62,000 dead in a month have we taken a pause out of respect for the people that have fallen. And so I highly recommend we step up our game. Anyway, I love you guys. You guys are super awesome and Major Cool. I will talk to y'all soon, and just try to be a good person. I'm doing my dangest. We all have weaknesses. We're all gonna make mistakes. And I definitely, those beautiful women, I want to kiss one day. That is like my number one. Like, if I could have anything in the world, that's it. If you offer me $1 billion or to make out with a woman that I am incredibly attracted to, that has great conversation skills, I would take the woman. And that may be a sin, but like I said, I'm not married. I ain't got no kids. Okay, God bless everyone. Stay cool. But you can have your own opinion, but I do believe only God can judge.